Is the media turning on Biden? MSNBC host criticizes Afghanistan's situation following the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan. President Biden has faced a lot of criticism. Now, even MSNBC is coming after him. Host Chuck Todd said on Tuesday that Joe Biden has lost competency high marks and ranted about the embarrassing situation overseas. Here's the full video.
Chuck, good morning. A lot of people said this was going to happen. I don't think they thought it would happen this quickly. People like General David Petraeus, who said you have to keep a small force in the country to keep the Taliban at bay. But as Monica just reported, President Biden is standing by his position, saying, I'm not going to pass this war on to a fifth president after me. How does that decision look this morning?
Look, it's Vice President Biden was an advocate of getting out 10 years ago. So, look, his mind was pretty made up when he took the oath of office on this. And obviously the Pentagon and intelligence folks don't necessarily love this decision, but they all acknowledge he had a bunch of bad choices sitting in front of him. But at the end of the day, Willie, this is a decision that's going to haunt him, right? And it may be he was not so subtle in that statement yesterday. He put this blame right on President Trump, saying that he negotiated this deal. He's the one that wanted to bring the Taliban to Camp David. Speaking of Camp David, something that he ended up deciding not to do. He created the situation and essentially tied his hands. All of that is there's a lot of truth in there, but at the end of the day, Biden's the one at the wheel right now. It's a decision. Look, anything that happens, a reconstituted Al-Qaeda, an ISIS-like result like we saw after withdrawal in Iraq, anything like that, this decision's going to get relitigated over and over again. Look, I happen to think that Biden can serve 8 years, and in year 9, something happens, and we're going to be relitigating this decision 9 years later. It's something that's just going to haunt his legacy.
No question about it. And as Richard Engel put it, the Afghan military trained by the United States for 20 years is melting away before our eyes. Chuck, thanks so much. I know you'll be talking a lot about this morning on Meet the Press. Chuck will be joined by Secretary of State Antony Blinken with some tough questions there, I'm sure.
The conservative call for Biden's impeachment has officially started. Following the unmitigated disaster in Afghanistan, President Biden is facing heavy criticism from both sides. But today, the official calls for impeachment have started. On Fox News this week, radio talk show host Mark Levin called on Republicans to start the impeachment proceedings immediately. Watch.
But Mark, when people are watching you just now and they've served in Afghanistan and they look down and they are missing a leg or a limb, or the invisible scars of this war, you pointed out something great. For 20 years, we have not been hit because of what they did, number one. And number two, what Joe Biden did is defy his own Defense Department, defy his own chief of staff. He was against the CIA and his intelligence unit. So I ask you, who told him to do this? Who is he listening to? And are you more than ever worried if he's capable of having this job?
Listen, Brian, I do things, I guess, that are unpopular from time to time. I said the Republicans in the House should be talking about his impeachment. You don't defy a Supreme Court decision the way this man did, willy-nilly, when it comes to rents and the attack on private property rights. You don't keep a border open when people are coming across the border who have the virus. When people are coming across the border who are MS-13, who are drug pushers, and now we have more terrorists coming across than ever before, the former Border Patrol chief said, particularly under these circumstances. You have a president of the United States who is mentally incapable. And I don't mean because he has dementia. He's always been mentally incapable of being president of the United States. Don't people remember that ISIS built its caliphate under Obama and Biden? That we talk about these 5 terrorists that were released from Guantanamo Bay, but it's okay, folks. They're not going to be in Afghanistan, and they promised us they won't go to the battlefield. And I want to add this, Brian. Who are the buffoons who are embracing the Taliban propaganda now that they're going to treat women differently and so forth and so on? Do you know Khomeini, when he took over Iran, said exactly the same thing? We're going to treat our women properly. We're going to have free speech. You know who else said that in 1936? Joseph Stalin, under his constitution that he put in place.